Hi there, my name is Jay Milanov. I'm the creator of the English with Jay project and the Essential English course. You're listening to episode 7 of my weekly Essential English podcast. I hope you're all safe and sound and you're enjoying the time you get to spend with your families. This quarantine and our lack of social life might feel like something awful, but that's only one way to look at it. You can also approach it as a chance to spend some quality time with your closest people. What happens is never fully in our control, but we can learn to control our reactions to what happens. We can choose to look at things from the bright side. Being an optimist is a choice, and it's probably one of the best choices you could make every day. But enough about life in general. Today I want to tell you about a video essay that I watched on YouTube. A video essay is just like a normal essay, but instead of text, it uses pictures, movement, sound effects, music, and speech to prove a point. This makes it even more interesting, as it engages most of your senses. The video essay that I watched was made by a YouTuber named Evan Pushak, or, as he calls himself, the Nerd Writer. This nickname is a combination of two words, nerd and writer. You surely know what writer means, but you may not be familiar with the word nerd. Nerd is a noun and it's a very popular word in American culture. In Bulgarian we call it zubar. But while zubar only means someone who studies too much, in English we use nerd to call anyone who is awkward around people or who has strange tastes and interests. If you're a big fan of Star Wars, for example, your friends may call you a nerd. But back to the video essay. It was about a big Hollywood movie from 2016 called Passengers. Jennifer Lorъnс from Hunger Games and Chris Prat from Guardians of the Galaxy played the main characters. Passengers tells the story of a spaceship traveling to a distant planet and transporting thousands of people to it. Everyone is supposed to sleep through the whole journey, which takes 120 years. But two of the passengers wake up 90 years early. Passengers was a big title and everyone was looking forward to seeing it. The trailer was full of suspense and drama and looked amazingly interesting, so everyone's expectations were huge. But when the movie came out and people watched it, everyone was disappointed. It was not as good as we all expected, which even made some people call it a disaster. This was my opinion as well, before I watched the Nerd Writer's video essay. Then he changed my mind. In the essay, he claims that Passengers was in fact not such a bad movie. It had an original script, which is really rare these days. The camera work was amazing, acting was good, visual effects were fantastic. According to him, the movie had just one big issue. The story was too predictable. Even teenagers could see where the whole thing was going. That the ship is going to be saved, the two main characters will fall in love, and they'll live happily ever after. Predictability is a big problem with art. Making a good film, or a good painting, or a good song is not enough. People are always looking for something new and surprising. If you don't make your audience wonder and guess what will happen, a good piece of art might seem like a big failure. Let me tell you how the movie goes. This is a spoiler, by the way. If you haven't watched it and you want to see it, it may ruin your experience. But, as we discussed, the film is pretty predictable anyway. In the opening 20 or 30 minutes of Passengers, Chris Pratt wakes up before everybody on the ship. No one else is awake, so he spends a whole year completely alone, getting more and more nervous and lonely. He is starting to go crazy, so he decides to wake Jennifer Lorъnс up, to keep him company. Of course, he doesn't tell her, but we all know. Then, of course, she finds out. Then, of course, he proves that he's a good guy. And at the end, of course, she forgives him. Very, very predictable. However, in his essay, the nerd writer says that the whole movie could be saved with just one small change in the story. If we simply move the opening scenes to the middle of the film, no one would know what's going on. No one would be sure that Chris Pratt is a good guy. Most viewers would be shocked to find out he woke Jennifer Lorъnс up, which would make him a lot deeper and more interesting as a character, and not at all predictable. In less than 9 minutes, the nerd writer rearranges Passengers in a way that makes it a real masterpiece. This is no surprise, he is a screenwriter himself. But anyway, watching his video essay made me think how small the difference between a big success and a big failure could be. And on the other hand, how important it is to keep your work a little mysterious to build suspense and create emotions. I will surely use those ideas in my own writing. I hope you use them in your work too. You can watch the video essay about Passengers on the link below. But enough for today. This was episode 7 of the Essential English Podcast. I'm Jay Milanov. Stay healthy and until next week.